welcome to the podcast. I am so excited for this episode because I have Coley with me, and Coley is an amazing student, and I am literally so excited to hear more about your story because I feel like I know just a little bit and I want to just expand on it. And I know that it's going to be really inspiring and hopefully motivating to anyone listening. So hello, Coley, and welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
Okay, so let's give a little rundown. Who is Coley?
Wow. Okay. So, my journey goes back. I'm about 40 years old, but when I was 15, I started working in like accounting, and I just graduated high school, I'd never went to college, and just learned, went up the ladder of corporate America, and just continued with accounting for like 20 years. And I just got bored of it. And I was like, okay,
Mm,
this is so boring. Like numbers all the time, over and over again. I'm like, I need something different to do with my life. And so I started to look into just something else, like went on Pinterest, like everybody does, and was like, how can I find a work from home job? And I found
mm.
out about blogging, and this was like probably like 10 years ago. And I found out about blogging, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start a blog. Like, I can make some money doing this. And my first thought was, okay, I need to build a website. Like, that was my first thought.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, I need to teach myself how to code so I can build a website
And a website for yourself.
for myself
Specific.
to do
Okay.
my own blog.
Love that. So you were going to
Yeah.
like dive in deep and just learn how to code.
Yeah, I was just gonna learn how to code, and then once I got into it, I was like, "This is no, I don't want to do this." It was horrible, and then I found out about like companies like Wix, and I started working for a friend who is a wedding photographer, and she actually used Showit for her website, and that's where I learned about Showit too. So,
Oh my God.
yeah.
I love that. Okay. So when was this that you like went to Pinterest and found out about blogging?
Oh gosh, that was probably like 2014, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then fill me in. What happened from 2014 to like now?
Yeah, so I was still working in accounting, but I was doing this on the side and I was just like teaching myself about marketing and about building a website and all these things. And then I started working for that wedding photographer friend part-time on the side. And then I lost my job, my first time I lost my job. And I just started working for her and just, taking on clients on the side, doing website design. Like I would do like Wix websites and things just over the years and just continue to like gain more website clients and then also doing social media management as well on the side.
Mm.
And then I was trying to turn that into like my full-time thing. And so eventually I went back to accounting because I was like, okay, I got to pay these bills and these websites are not, I didn't know anything about charging the right rate. And so I ended up going back to work and then ended up losing my job again. I'm like, okay, the universe is definitely telling me not to do this, not to be in accounting. So in 2020, I lost my job again, and I was like, okay, this is definitely a sign. So that's when I went
Wow.
like full force with website design.
Wow. Okay. So you lost your job in 2020. What did that look like for you, if you don't mind sharing?
So it was actually I lost it because I had gotten like COVID, I don't know if we want to say that, but um but I had gotten it and I got really sick. And so I needed to just take time off of work. So I was like on disability, so I was able to get some income going and then build my business at the same time, but I still didn't know about your course at all at this time. And so I was just continuing to do like Wix websites and WordPress websites and but wasn't charging nearly what I should be charging. And so I was just plugging along. My husband was working, so we were able to have some income and yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like you kind of had a long journey with web design. Like it
Yeah.
has been over time. I'm so curious, what did you feel like? Why did you gravitate towards web design? Why did you do it even maybe when it wasn't super easy in the beginning and you pushed through? Like what did you love so much about web design that it made you that determined to do it?
I love creativity. So the creativity piece of it, even when I'm doing like doing social media management, I'm loving the part where you're like making Canva designs.
Mm,
That's the part I love the most. I like hate the part where you're posting and looking up hashtags and all that stuff. Like I like the video editing piece, I like the design piece, and so that's why web design is
yeah.
kind of my thing.
I love that. No, I love that. So you had said that in 2020 was when you kind of like jumped back into it. At what point did you find me? When did that happen?
I actually didn't find you until maybe a month and a half ago.
Oh my gosh. Wait, you're like so new. Okay.
I'm a
So
baby.
fill me in. Wait, so did you find me on TikTok or Instagram?
So I actually found you through Morgan, your student. I
Oh my
found
God, love
her
her.
on Instagram and then she was talking about your course and that's how I found it and I DM'd her and was like, "Is this really real? Is this legit? Like, is it really this good?" And she was like, "No, really, it's good." And I was debating between you and another person. The other person had a course, but they weren't offering nearly as much for the same
Mm,
amount. So they weren't teaching you how to use Showit. They were just showing you like how to build the business, but not
okay.
showing you like the behind the scenes of how to actually use Showit. So that's why I went with you.
I love that. Okay. Wait, so did you get CEO of Showit and Wealthy Web Designer?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yep. Yep.
Okay. So let's just cut to the chase because last week I got a DM from you that said that it was actually so cute. You were like, holy bananas or something like that. And said that you went, so you were charging $300 for a website. And that then you went to charging $3,000 for a website.
Yeah, yeah.
How did that happen? Tell me how that happened.
I watched your course. Okay, so I signed up for your course on September 29th. No, not September 29th. Sorry, we're in October. August 29th, I signed up for your course and I binge watched it in a weekend, which was probably like crazy to do. Binge watched it in a weekend because I was like, I gotta start on Monday. And there was a part where you were talking about pricing in there and what you should charge and stuff and how you should level yourself up. And so I was just like, I had already done a little bit of research from seeing people on Instagram talking about what you should charge.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I need to charge 3,000.
I
I
love.
knew my work was good though because I had done like 25 plus websites at this point. So I've been, pretty experienced already. So I knew I could charge it. It's just I was scared because I was doing a lot of like websites for family, you know?
Mm,
So, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So pretty much you went to bed one night and you were like, yeah, my websites are only worth $300. And then you woke up the next morning and you were like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm worth $3,000.
Pretty much. Well, I
Okay.
knew I knew my websites were worth way more. It was just because certain ones were from family that I would just give it to them for like
Yeah.
pennies, basically.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So do you feel like was there a piece in Wealthy Web Designer that like just clicked or like felt like it was like the clarity that you needed or like what was it that made you register like okay, I actually can charge way more for this?
Well, I think part of it is the platform. So using Showit, it's a
Mm,
high quality platform, and just being having experience with Showit. But I think for me personally, because I had so much experience in web design, maybe someone coming in new might not understand, everything that's in the course. They might not fully understand it until they've been going through it for a couple months. But
mm,
but because I had that experience, I think that helped me to like go faster.
mm,
But just the whole thing, like the processes, showing like how you create almost like a portal in like Asana and things like that. I didn't have that ironed out at all. Like
mm.
to let the client, to build out the homepage, let them review it, and then you move on after they've approved it. Like I never did that. I would just build out the whole website and just like pray that they would like it.
Like, please.
which most of the time they loved it, so it worked. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the processes go a long way. I also feel like just with confidence, like when you're taking on a client, when you have all that built out, you'll feel just so much more confident in the work that you're providing and the experience that you're delivering. I love that you mentioned that. I'm curious. So, okay. Raising your prices from $300 to $3,000 is great, but not if you don't make the money. So I'm curious, have you sold a package at $3,000 yet?
Yes, I've sold 4 packages at $3,000.
Okay,
And
where?
I've received
How?
like 50, I do 50% deposit, and I've gotten all of those deposits.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so how, where, when? Tell the people how you made that happen.
Instagram. I know it's crazy. Like people think that you can't find people on Instagram, but for whatever reason it worked for me. And I
Yeah.
didn't change. So the thing is that I didn't change. I didn't really have like a niche when I took in the beginning of the course. Like I was just doing, anybody who wanted a website. And then through the course I learned I figured out what my niche should be. And I even asked a question in the circle. I asked a question about it to try to like get some answers. Willow helped me to like figure it out. And then I figured out my niche, and then changed it all on Instagram. So now my keywords were showing up on my profile, and then I got clients.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I feel like, because obviously that's what I preach. I'm always like, you can literally go onto Instagram and book dream clients. Like it's really not that hard. Like if you just show up and do these like key little things and utilize social media, it really can be that simple. And I feel like it's really common for people to overcomplicate things and almost think that they have to be more difficult or harder to make it more justified. Like, I think we're so ingrained to think that like in order to make money, we have to work so hard. And I strongly disagree. And I feel like you are proof that it can be easy. Like you can just make little tweaks, raise the fact that you were able to raise your price by so much and then make little tweaks, identify your niche and go onto Instagram. It's like I'll do videos on that, and say to do exactly that. And people are like, no way, like cap, like that doesn't work. But you're literally proof that it works. Like it does work.
It works.
I love that. Oh my God.
Content is
So
king.
who you mentioned switching over your niche, or that you didn't have a niche prior. What's your niche now? Who's like your dream client?
So before I was doing a lot of beauty entrepreneurs, like people that were maybe new in the business, maybe been in business maybe 2 to 3 years. Typically people that had like solo salons and things like that. And
Okay.
then I was working for those ones, and that was like my lower end where they were like not paying that much for websites. But then when I switched over, I at that point I had some clients that were in real estate, so I was like, okay, I need to decide which way do I want to go. But I knew that the beauty entrepreneurs couldn't afford $3,000 for a website, but I knew that the real estate could. So that's why I was like, okay, I just need to I had was like 50-50 between the two, so I was like, okay, I just need to go with real estate because they can afford my pricing. And that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, clearly that clarity like worked. Like because so all four clients that you booked were in real estate.
So I mean, they're not like all realtors, but one was like a real estate agent, one was a home stager. I had another real estate agent, and then another one was like a construction company or electrician.
Yeah.
So I kind of like
So totally
bundle it all
niche.
together. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, wait, I'm curious on what's the route of packages that you're going. Are you doing day rates or are you doing like long-term
So
packages?
right now I was just starting with like long term, just 2 to 4 weeks to do a website. Came up with my processes of how I would be able to do that with the time that I have, like my time throughout the week. I do want to do like website in a week and a website in a day eventually, but for right now I'm just doing these. And then eventually I do want to like have a shop, obviously.
Yeah. I love that. No, I mean, allow yourself to grow into it. Like you obviously just you had such a big transition so recently, like literally 2 weeks ago. And so I would strongly recommend like having these experiences with these new clients that you just charged $3,000 for. Like you just made $12,000. Is that correct? Like
Yeah, crazy.
$12,000 working for these clients. Give them the best experience ever. You'll learn so much from it. And then you'll be able to take that knowledge and expand and evolve. And you never even know, like, if this ends up being your niche that you land on, you could take these sites and turn them into website templates and sell, and then, launch your day rate like that. So I feel like the evolution will just come so natural for you.
Yeah, I have a friend who's been telling me like you need to get into real estate because she's like they don't know what they're doing. Like all of them, she's like they all have the same exact cookie cutter website and they need
Honestly.
you and I'm like, "Okay, I'm coming."
You're like, heard.
But it's good because her sister like works in that arena, so I'm like, okay, I can network, and get some ins on some people. So it's
I love
great.
that. I love that you actually just said that because I think it's in Design Your Day Rate where I talk about how to utilize a niche that is in your past, like whether it's your own career or a network of people that or like someone in your family like is so tapped in, like being able to really recognize how you can just immediately tap into a pool of people. That's like the most powerful way you can start your business. And then I feel like once you get going and you have more of an online presence, then maybe you could pivot a little and be like, okay, I'm going to be really selective. But like in the beginning, like utilize who utilize like who your people know. Like networking is the most powerful thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you had, because majority of people listening to the podcast are all creatives, web designers, maybe some have been, in the game for a while like you were, or some maybe just are brand new. If you could give them a piece of advice, just one piece of advice, what would it be?
I always say this, keep a growth mindset. Always stay growing. Always try to learn more. I mean, I'm constantly trying to learn something, whether it's through YouTube or an online course or a podcast. Just keep growing.
That's really good advice. I love that. On that topic, so with CEO of Showit and Wealthy Web Designer, is that like, are you happy that you went that route? Do you feel like that was a catalyst to you getting to the place you are now? Like what would you tell someone if they're listening to this and they haven't taken that plunge, but they've been thinking about it?
I would definitely do it. When I bought it, I couldn't afford it. I really couldn't afford it. But I was like, I just have to do it. I know I have to do it. So I went in on the monthly payment plan and, I'm still paying it off, but it was worth it. Definitely
Yeah.
worth it. And I am like looking forward to purchasing like the day rate, the library. I need to get the library like as soon as
Yes.
possible.
Yes. I love that. So that's almost like a lesson, like you really banked on yourself, like you believed in yourself, you knew that you wanted, because that's a risk, right? Like not
Mhm.
having the funds and then to invest into a course of like this random online chick on Instagram. Like I know that that's a risk, like for sure. I'm not going to downplay it, but you had this gut feeling and this like internal, intuition that you were like, I want to do something bigger. I want to make more money. I want to, whatever your big like whys are, it led you to making that decision. And then it clearly paid off. Like you trusted yourself enough that you made that scary plunge. And now like, look at you. And it's so cool to see that this all happened just so quickly too, because imagine what can happen now in 6 months or a year. Like
Yeah.
truly, it's insane. It's so inspiring. And I'm honestly just so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's end it on a positive note. What's like one of your biggest goals for the next 6 months?
To repeat, at least repeat what I just did. At least repeat it, but I could do more. I do want to get my shop set up, all my services set up. And yeah, yeah, that's my goal.
I love it. Passive income. Passive income. Well, you clearly have the ability. The fact that you were able to book 4 clients, at this new price shows that you have it in you to do that. And so really like sky's the limit for you now. And everyone listening too, I do want this to be like, I love when I get to share stories that are beyond myself, because I know that sometimes if I share my stories, some people can be like, oh, like that's just like a fluke. Like who knows if that's, repeatable. But I think the fact that you were able to do that, and put in the work and show that determination, I really hope that if you're listening to this, that you're really, really inspired and, chase your dreams, whatever that looks like. Well, Coley, where can people come and hang on your little corner of the internet? Where can people find you?
At Create with Coley in all the social platforms of the world.
Amazing. I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your story. I know that people are going to be inspired, and yeah, I mean, I'm inspired. I'm like so proud. So I am really grateful that you came on and chatted with me.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course.